So in this video, I'm going to review two example problems with you. We're going to do questions 1 and question 3. And I'm going to just basically explain how I graph these lines, and you're going to try the rest for practice. So we've got these different points that we're going to use as inputs, and we're going to plug them in for x right here. And the output right here is our answer that we're going to put over here. So the first one, if x is right here and the first x is 3, just ask yourself, what's 3 times 3? Which is 9, now minus 1, so that's where I'm going to get an 8 right here, okay? All right, now we're going to do 3 times 2. So 3 times 2 is 6, minus 1 is 5. The next input, 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, and negative 6 minus 1 is negative 7. And 3 times 0 is 0, and then we're going to subtract 1 and get a negative 1. So now over here, the points that you see, I'm going to move over 3 up 8 from the origin. So over 3 up 8, and that's your first point. Then you're going to move from the origin over 2 up 5. That's your next point. Then you're going to go back 2 down 7. That's our third point. And the last point, starting at the origin, we're simply going to move down 1. Now when you use your ruler to connect these dots, make sure you put your arrows on the end, because technically the lines could keep going on forever and ever and ever. I could input way more numbers than are listed here and have way more points to plot. But in this scenario, for our table of values, we just simply took 4 numbers, plugged them in, got 4 outputs, and then that generated our list of ordered pairs. This would be the point 3, 8. This would be the point 2, 5. This would be the point negative 2, negative 7, and this would be the point 0, negative 1. Okay? So let's try the next one, number 3 down here. So for this one, we're taking the opposite of x and then subtracting 2. And technically, there's really a negative 1 in front of the x, and we don't ever have to write a 1. So you can think of it as multiplying 6 by negative 1, or taking the opposite of 6. So we got a negative 6 right here, and then negative 6 minus 2 is negative 8. Now the opposite of negative 5 is 5, minus 2 is 3. You could think of it as negative 5 times negative 1, and that's still a positive 5. Now minus 2 is still a 3. So the opposite of negative 2 is 2. Now minus 2 is 0. And for the last one, the opposite is 0 is just still 0. And then minus 2, we get a negative 2. All right, so now we're going to plot. We're going to go over 6 down 8. So from the origin, we move over 6 and, over 6 and down 8. We got a point. Then we're going to move back 5, up 3. We have a point. We're going to move from the origin back 2, and then not up or down. And then the last point tells us not to go left or right at all on the x-axis, but to simply move down 2 on the y-axis. Remember, when you use your ruler to connect, we've got arrows on the end. And in terms of the puzzle part of the worksheet, number 1, the line went to letter E. For number 3, the line went to letter H. So down below, you have the letters that you can be plugging in. Now I want you to try the rest for practice. I'm not going to have any more video to go over it. I'll make sure that as a class, when you guys are done, I have the answer key posted up on the board for everybody. And that concludes the video on page 3. Thank you. Thank you.